Assalamualaikum and good evening. You're now with me, Yusuf Shukri, for TVS Nightline and our top stories for tonight. US President Donald Trump announced that American forces carried out very successful airstrikes on key Iranian nuclear sites. Strikes hit areas in Fordo, Natanz and Isfahan. Now, Iran had strongly warned Trump against involvement in the conflict with Israel, saying if the US directly entered the hostilities, it would lead to irreparable consequences. Its Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi wants the UN Security Council to take action against the US to avoid further escalation that could have far-reaching impacts on regional and global stability. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim urged an immediate halt to Middle East violence, warning that escalating tensions could trigger a global humanitarian and economic crisis. The utmost priority, he said, should be protecting innocent lives who usually fall victim in such chaos. We head on with local updates first before we go back to the world news. The Petros multi-fuel station MFS in Batukawa is expected to commence operations soon, making it the 11th of such station in Sarawa and the second flagship station in the region, capable of supplying hydrogen fuel. In a statement today, SEDC Energy or SEDC announced that the station's physical structure is now complete and is undergoing final checks with the relevant authorities before it can begin full operations.
Meanwhile, the statement also mentioned that Sarawak Deputy Premier Dr. ANWAR Dr. Sim Kui Hian visited the site today and was briefed by the SEDC team on the station's development and key features. According to SEDC, MFS Batukawa will be the second flagship station after MFS Darul Hana. It is designed to offer conventional fuels, fast charging facilities for electric vehicles (EVs), and hydrogen fuel supply. The hydrogen for Batukawa will be sourced from MFS Darul Hana, which operates a hydrogen production plant with a daily capacity of 150 kilograms. The hydrogen will be transported via tube trailers and delivered to customers using a mobile hydrogen refueling system, the first distribution model of its kind in the region. Earlier this year, SEDC appointed the Koperasi Bomba dan Penyelamat Malaysia as the operator of MFS Batukawa, providing a sustainable income stream for cooperative members. Currently, 10 Petros MFS stations are fully operational across Sarawak.
Miri is set to host the Sarawak Day 2025 celebration, which will take place over 3 days from July 20th to 22nd. Transport Minister Datuk Seri Lee Kim Shin said that selecting Miri as the main venue adds greater significance and inclusivity to this year's celebration, encouraging broad community participation through a range of events.
Dan tahun ini Miri telah dipilih sebagai pusat perayaan dan saya juga dilantik sebagai Menteri Bertanggungjawab dan bersama saya juga beberapa orang timbalan menteri, iaitu Yang Berhormat Datuk Haja Rozi, Yang Berhormat Datuk Dr. Anwar, Yang Berhormat Datuk Dr. Pengguang, Yang Berhormat Datuk Sebastian Ting, Yang Berhormat Datuk Gerawat Kala, Yang Berhormat Datuk Dr. Repeat. Ya, jadi 6 timbalan menteri, mereka juga membantu dalam jawatan kuasa induk di sinilah. Ini bukan kali pertama kita telah mengadakan beberapa mesyuarat muda dan kita telah membuat persiapan. Dan hari ini saya juga ingin mengumumkanlah acara yang kita telah bincang dan juga dipersetujui, iaitu acara pertama kita akan mengadakan Karnival Jualan dan Sarawak Talent yang akan berlangsung daripada 22 hingga 28 2 hari bulan Julai.
20 hingga
20 hingga 22 hari bulan Julai 2025, tempat Stadium Bandaraya Miri.
Speaking during a press conference at the Miri Division Residence Office on Friday, he said this year's celebration will feature various exciting events starting July 20th, including a sales carnival, Sarawak talent with TVS, and a Zumba session at Miri Indoor Stadium. Meanwhile, on the evening of July 20th, a multi-faith Thanksgiving will be held at Marriott's Hotel as a symbol of unity, followed by an Islamic Thanksgiving on July 21st at the Taqwa Mosque. The highlight of the celebrations on July 22nd will see more than 5,000 participants joining a unity walk, a town hall session with the people at Imperial Hotel, and the Sarawak Day gathering at Miri City Stadium.
On to some national news. The Child Protection Advocacy program extends beyond the legal framework of safeguarding children, placing strong emphasis on raising public awareness of real-life situation within local communities. Through this initiative, the public is educated on how to recognize and respond to cases of abuse, neglect, or exploitation of children.
Kesedaran menganjur program seperti ini memberi kesedaran kepada masyarakat supaya mereka tahu bahawa ada perlindungan untuk mereka, ada undang-undang untuk mereka semua. Masyarakat perlu tahu bahawa anak-anak juga mempunyai hak untuk hidup di bawah they have their own human rights lah sebagai manusia sejagat, ya. Jadi kita mahu supaya rakyat kalau berlaku ini kepada sesiapa yang kita ketahui perlulah lapor, terutama sekali kita.
Minister of Women, Family and Community Development, Dato' Sri Nancy Shukri, underscored the vital role of the public in stepping forward to report any incidents involving children, ensuring that swift action can be taken to protect their well-being. Moreover, she said, the Welfare Department JKM recorded 572 cases of child neglect in Sarawa between January and June this year. She stressed that the figure highlights the need for proactive measures to address child abuse, and there may be many more unreported or unnoticed cases in the community.
The new electricity tariff schedule taking effect on July 1st represents a significant step in the government's efforts to promote energy efficiency and the reuse of renewable energy. Communications Minister Dato' Fahmi Fadzil stated that the reform will directly benefit 85% of electricity users and Tenaga Nasional Berhad TNB account holders through either maintained or reduced monthly bills. Adding to that, he said the incentives will apply to consumption of 1,000 kilowatt hours or kWh or less.
Dan pengenalan dua perkara penting, salah satunya ialah time of use. Itu cuba menggalakkan rakyat untuk mencari masa yang sesuai untuk menggunakan aplikasi-aplikasi di rumah seperti mesin basuh yang mungkin memakan banyak tenaga elektrik pada waktu-waktu tertentu. Yang kita tahu sekarang ni dia ada waktu puncak ataupun bukan waktu puncak.
Commenting further, Fahmi noted that these reforms align with the National Energy Transition Roadmap and ETR 2050, which aims to boost renewable energy adoption and lower carbon emissions.
Itulah antara reformasi besar yang sedang diusahakan termasuk oleh Petra, termasuk Suruhanjaya Tenaga dan juga Tenaga Nasional Berhad.
Now, our top story for today. The United States U.S. President Donald Trump said Saturday that American forces completed quote-unquote very successful airstrikes on 3 Iranian nuclear sites amid fears of a wider conflagration in the region. Trump said a quote-unquote full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary Iranian nuclear site at Fordo, and additional strikes were conducted at the facilities at Natanz and Esfahan.
Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated.
The Fordo nuclear facility is an underground uranium enrichment site near Qom, Iran's deepest and most fortified nuclear installation designed to withstand conventional airstrikes. Iran had strongly warned Trump against involvement in the conflict with Israel, saying if the U.S. directly entered the hostilities, it would lead to quote-unquote irreparable consequences. Trump has repeatedly threatened to take military action against Tehran and maintained that the U.S. would not allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon, something Iran has repeatedly denied that it seeks to acquire.
Following 3 strikes on nuclear sites, Iran called on the United Nations Security Council to take action against the U.S. The Iranian foreign minister said Iran reserves the right to resist U.S. aggression and the crimes committed by this rogue regime in defense of its national security following the U.S. attacks. It called on the UN member states to condemn the U.S. attack and urge restraint to avoid further escalation, warning that the situation could have far-reaching impacts on regional and global stability.
The Islamic Republic of Iran continue to defend Iran's territory, sovereignty, security, and people by all means necessary against not just U.S. military aggression, but also the reckless and unlawful actions of the Israeli regime. In accordance with the UN Charter and its provisions allowing a legitimate response in self-defense, Iran reserves all options to defend its security, interests, and people.
Iran's delegation to the United Nations also formally called for an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council on Sunday to discuss the U.S. strikes. In a letter submitted to the Council carried by FAR News Agency, the Iranian delegation urged immediate action and the adoption of necessary measures under the framework of the United Nations Charter.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim stressed violence in the Middle East should stop immediately to protect innocent lives who usually fall victim in such chaos. It should be the utmost priority, he said, especially when the situation between Israel and Iran are escalating to even greater heights, putting not only regional peace at risk, but would eventually putting the world into a turmoil of humanitarian and economic crisis if it is not handled properly.
Dan sekarang bila ada campur tangan daripada negara luar termasuk Amerika Syarikat, kita lebih mengerohkan. Kalau Selat Hormuz itu ditutup, itu menjadi permasalahan besar pada ekonomi dunia. Tapi bagi saya yang penting sekali nyawa manusia dan keadilan. Kita ya, kalau katakan tidak memilih, sekurang-kurangnya ambil keputusan, hentikan keganasan ini. Maknanya ya, jangan izinkan Iran tidak balas, tapi mengapa izinkan Israel bertindak begitu rupa? Malaysia terpaksa suarakan. Ya, pemikiran kita jangan sampai negara merdeka dan berdaulat tidak ada upaya yang bercakap tentang hak asasi dan keadilan. Ya, ini mudah-mudahan ada perubahan, tapi kita hanya mampu doa kebaikan dan kemaslahatan bagi rakyat.
And those were the updates on TVS Nightline. My name is Yusuf. Thank you for watching. Assalamualaikum and good night.